laptop and away I go. And the other thing that I use, which if you've seen any of my other demos, you'll know that I talk about a lot, is this cool gaming mouse called a Razer Naga, which has got buttons. It's right here. It's got buttons on the shoulder of the mouse, so I can do things. I can like assign different keystrokes to that, so I don't need to touch the keyboard when I'm editing. So have a play around with one of those. This is a slightly older model that I've got here, but the newer one's even better. But I highly recommend it if you want to work really fast. So let's have a little look through the project. First of all, you'll notice here, right, project format, right, there it is there. I've got it set to 1080p 24. Now, a lot of people think that you should use 2398 when they're editing films. The reason I don't do that, and the reason why I advise that nobody bothers to do that anymore, is because 2398 is a legacy from when NTSC was 2997, and nobody uses NTSC anymore. And when the film is finished and on a DCP in a cinema, it's at true 24 frames a second. So I always work at true 24. I never bother with 2398. It's just a lot easier technically just to have everything at 24 all the time. Have a look at the bins here. So I've got, in the top left, you can see there's my cutting copy that I'm working with at the moment. So there's the 5 reels that I've got open here. I've got a work bin. So here's basically, when I'm working, I have little workshop bins there so that it's not having to auto-save big bins. All kinds of interesting things in there. All the scene bins are here, so every single scene in the movie is broken down in batches of 20. So there, for example, is loaded scene 61 to scene 80. They have the scene number and then a little description. And if there is a lot of action in a particular scene, like there's a scene here, scene 146, Mother Russia and Hit Girl trade blows. That was a big scene. If anyone's seen the movie, there's a big fight at the end between a character called Mother Russia and our hero Hit Girl. And so there was a lot of dailies for that scene, which is why it's split up into 20 different parts. And then I've got an archive of every single cut of the movie here. So if at any point we need to go back, even to the very first assembly, which is version 1, I've got every single cut of the movie I've ever done, along with the date that it happened. And if anything momentous happened, like it was a test screening, or the producers watched it, or it was a screening somewhere, then I know where it is. But again, all archived away nicely. Then I've got music, sound effects, anything to do with visual effects. And finally, one of the most useful things is that all the stuff that my assistants do is in a folder called the basement. So I never have to worry about it. It just goes on in there. And then for those of you who use Avid Unity, which some people still do because it works really well for when you've got a small number of people, like 6 people collaborating, you get these folders in the project which are the usernames. And what we've ended up doing is giving the usernames like numbers, so they just disappear to the bottom of the project. And I have everything organized numerically, so it just looks neat. And in the basement in here, we've got the dailies for the movie down as picture and sound. So let's take a look at one particular day. Day 25. So this is the dailies from one particular day. Now this movie was shot on an Arri Alexa camera, and the Alexa camera makes sequential Arri files. And we used, on Kick-Ass 2, we did our entire lab, our entire post-production in the cutting room. Nothing was done by a third-party facility, everything was done inside. We took the Arri files, we backed them up, we put them on LTO tapes, we transcoded them in DaVinci Resolve to DNX36, we added burn-ins, and we brought them into the Media Composer. And this is what happens on a particular day. Now look at all the stuff that my assistants put in, it's really cool. They put the camera roll, the camera, the scene, can you still hear me? The scene, the take, the description, edit notes, the shoot date, the lens size, all that stuff is put in so we have it all, should we need to know it. It's very, very important that that happens. Hey, I'll show you a cool trick that we used. When you get a bin full of MXF files from DaVinci Resolve, there's a really cool trick that you can use to get them into the Media Composer quickly, and that is you can either open the media tool and have it scan the drive, or you can go to the drag the folders into one of the media files folders, and then drag the. You see here we've got the MDB file, which is the Avid Media database. If you drag that into a bin, then everything that's in that folder will pop up automatically, which is pretty cool. So that's how we got the files in. Hey, while we're there, let me just show you how we organize the media. So on each drive, we've got separate individually numbered subfolders, and then underneath we use a text file to tell us what's in there. So you don't just end up with a load of numbers. I know that